Hello and welcome everyone to the updates about the NMKR store. I'm Fahim. I'm the designer of the project, and I'm going to show you a bit what has happened in the last few weeks and months and what to expect in the near future of the NMKR store. One of the biggest updates was actually a decision that we took a few months ago, where we decided to not launch the NMKR store as a public marketplace that would have competed with all the other marketplaces on Cardano, but actually to launch white label stores and really give projects the opportunity to have a spot where they can have their own branding running on their own domain with only their own policy IDs, where they can focus their community on without having to compete with the thousands of other projects that are running or shown on other marketplaces. And we've tried that now with a few smaller clients that we've launched with, just to test out the idea and to get first feedback from the client, from the end users, to build out our tech to actually support that. And we got good feedback. We saw great success with that. And now we are focusing a lot of development efforts on white label stores. Not only on the experience of the end user of the marketplace, but also on the experience to launching your own marketplace. But more on that later. One other feature in regards to also white label stores that we've built and launched is a dark mode. We had a lot of clients requesting dark modes because their branding is built on a dark foundation, and for them, therefore, it doesn't make sense to have a marketplace in light mode. So together with the dark mode and the whole concept around white label stores, and together with Noom, we've now launched the record store under recordstore.noom.io, I believe. Go on there, check it out, check out the collections, all of the music and whatnot. Explore the marketplace, see how it works. Because soon you can do the same as Noom did, meaning launching your own marketplace. We'll have in NMKR Studio, we'll have a wizard where you can edit the branding, you can add your own policy IDs, add a bunch of other information as well. And with that, you can launch your own marketplace. And we're super, super excited about that. And I guess Patrick will talk about that as well, and maybe get into more details about that. But once that is live, we are super eager to see all of the new marketplaces that will pop up from all of the projects. And yeah, that's going to be really cool. To what's gonna happen in the near future. For us, it's quite difficult always to figure out what to build or to write down actually a coherent roadmap, because we have to balance so many stakeholders for the stores. On the one hand, we have the clients who are launching the stores. We have the end users who actually use the store. We also have our own internal goals and things that we want to build, and balancing all of that is quite hard. But nonetheless, we're going to show you a bit what is in development right now and will be launched in a few weeks. One thing is a wallet connect, which might seem odd because you may think a wallet connect is a standard feature for all marketplaces. But if you go onto the record store of Noom, for example, there is no wallet connect. And the reason for that is there was actually never the need for that, because everything related to wallets was always done is done in NMKR Pay. So therefore, there was never the need to actually have wallet connect beforehand. But that now changed, and together with wallet connect and profiles that are coming, we can now improve the whole listening experience for the end users. So if you buy something, right now it's quite hard to relist something because you have to find your NFT either through the URL or through the search, which is quite difficult. But once we have wallet connect and profiles, you can just go into your profile, see the wallets, see the NFTs that you own, and then relist them. All of the new features and also any bug fixes or small changes to the store will always be automatically rolled out to all of the client stores. So, for example, as soon as we have the profiles running in the Wallet Connect, in the same moment, this will be live for the new store as well, or for your store for that matter. So you never really have to think about that and figure out releases or whatnot. We'll take care of that always, which is quite cool. And I think the whole idea around white label stores, having that automated, having that be able to set up in NMKR Studio without writing a single line of code, is super easy and makes it, opens it up to a bunch of people in projects who don't have a technical background, because setting up stores with trading and stuff like that is super, super hard. And being able to rolling that out to basically everyone is super amazing. And yeah, we'll hope you're going to use that. And we're excited to see your store running soon. And with that, back to Patrick.
Cool. And with that, back to Patrick and Victor. I hope, yeah. So I'm extremely excited for what we're building here, because we, with NMaker, we started as just a minting platform, right? So we said, okay, we want to make minting accessible. We want to make NFTs accessible to everyone, and I think we succeeded with that. But that was all during a bull market, right? A lot of hype going on, and not a lot of time to actually sit down and figure out, okay, what do we actually need to do to build a business that's sustainable long term, and also can onboard people from the outside world into the space. Like, what is actually needed to make NFTs successful? And now in the bear market, in the current situation, we kind of had the chance to sit down and think really hard. Okay, what do we need to build? Do we really want to build another marketplace? Do we really want to compete with JPEG Store, or OpenSea, or Magic Eden, or whatever? And it doesn't really make sense, because there are already so many marketplaces out there. There are already so many DEXs out there and all this kind of stuff. And for us, it was always more outward looking, more using NFTs as tools, right? As things that can actually solve problems, not only as JPEGs. Art is amazing and great, and it's the door opener for many great use cases, but it's only the beginning. So we decided to really go deep on this like white label idea, on this customization idea. So everything that we do with NMaker Studio and the NFT minting part is built so that you can do it on your own website. We're not a launch pad. We are a platform that you can use to basically take NFTs and integrate them into your own website, into your own application, and launch them the way you want to, and the way that it fits your customers. And I think that's extremely powerful, because that opens up so many new opportunities. It's not just about the next 10K ape pictures or so. You can really say, okay, if you're like a fine art artist, you want to launch NFTs for your gallery, for example, on the gallery's website. Or if you're like a big enterprise and you want to launch NFTs as like a life cycle, as a step in the life cycle of your product, you can automatically like mint them once, I don't know, a certain part of your tool or something like that gets produced, right? And that's what we focus on. And the same thing goes for the secondary marketplace, of course. We focused on the minting, and we have NMaker Studio, and NMaker Studio has minted over 2 million NFTs at this point, or almost 2 million NFTs, I think, at this point, together with NFT Maker version 1. And now we want to basically extend that life cycle and give companies and creators and artists the opportunity to also take that secondary marketplace into their own hands, and basically create their own white label marketplaces. And that's what we are focused on with everything that Fahim has just shown you. And maybe just quickly, the way NMaker works is that we always go down two paths, right? So we always go down, on the one side, the path of like completely no code. You go in there, you can set up your stuff. You don't have to write a single line of code. It's super easy. And that's also what we do with NFT Pal, right? Where we say, okay, image generation should be easy, and you don't have to write a single line of code, and that's it. So we have this, kind of Shopify approach to building a marketplace that Fahim showed, where you can really just click a few things, and I'll show you more about that in a second, and then you have your own marketplace. But on the other side, we also recognize that a lot of products and projects want to basically integrate NFTs more deeply into their products. So they are not looking for a no-code solution. They're more looking for kind of a mix between no-code and API, and that's really where the NMKR API comes into place, right? So we have a very extensive API. We will show you that quickly here as well. So, right, this is our API documentation. This whole Swagger page here is basically all API endpoints that you can call through NMKR, and that you can use to really embed NFTs deeply into your products. And we always build them in a way so that it's kind of a mix between just API, but also a little bit of no code. So for example, NMKR Pay, our payment solution, that's a great tool because no one wants to build their own payment solution. There's no point in you building your own payment solution if there's already existing solutions out there. So what you can do is you can use the API for certain aspects, but then you can use the no-code tools like NMKR Pay and combine it with your usage of the API. And that's really kind of our thinking. So we want to give you the best of both worlds. And last point before we go on to the next topic, I just quickly wanted to show you what's currently live in NMKR Studio already. Because, as Fai mentioned, we have recently launched the very first, or one of the first NMKR stores with Noom. And we're going to talk about that later with Ryan as well when he joins the stream. But essentially, the cool thing about that is that it's not a custom developed store, right? It's all set up automatically from inside NMKR Studio. This is actually what it looks like. This is literally the live account where the store is set up. And the cool thing about it is really that, you can set up a store like that in a few minutes. And this all that I'm going to show you right now is not public yet. So it's all, hidden. And, you can see like the project ID and stuff like that. That's all not public. So you can't really do anything with that. But the idea is basically that once we enable this, everyone will be able to set up their own marketplaces in 5 minutes or less, hopefully. And I think that's really powerful. That's just making it so much easier for everyone. And and before I hop in there, the last thing that I wanted to mention, this is all super beta or alpha. It's not released. It's no one else has seen this except the people at Noom and Jimmy from Six City, of course, who have set up the store. And everything in here will change just also from a UI perspective. We're really working hard on making the UI as clean as possible at the moment. And we know that NMKR Studio is not up to our own standards, to be honest, yet. But we're getting there. So, so the way it works is, right, we have this nice green button here, create a new store. You can click on that, or what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on edit store because we already have an existing store in there, right? And I can go in there and I can say, okay, I'm basically prompted to enter some information about the store, like the name and the URL and a description, Twitter handle. Also select the wallet, right, where the marketplace fees are going to go to, right, because there are fees for a secondary marketplace. You can select how large the fees are or not. And then you can go to the next steps and change some branding stuff, basically. So for example, the color here, you can select the color for the primary brand. You can select a secondary color, stuff like that. You can choose between some Google fonts, upload a fav icon, upload an open graph image. That's the image that always shows on Twitter when you copy paste the link. And you can select if you want to have a dark mode or if you want to have a light mode. And so, I'm very pro light mode, but Twitter has convinced me we needed a dark mode. And then also here, a very important step is that you can select the NFT search scope. So essentially you can say, okay, do we want to have all NFTs on Cardano indexed for this marketplace, or do we want to restrict it to a certain amount of collections that are indexed by the store? And, for this, in this case, of course, we have restricted it to all the NFTs that Project Noom is wants to have on the store, which is all like music NFTs, basically. And then if you go to the next step, you can upload the logo. And don't worry, this logo is very large now, of course. This is because I uploaded a super large logo. And this is the part where I mentioned, okay, the UI is not finished. Of course, we need to scale that down a little bit and all this stuff. footer logo as well, and you can set some call to action buttons. So like, start collecting, apply for drop, link it to some URLs, stuff like that. And then in the last step, or one of the last steps, is it's basically a few other things around the page. What do you call it? Design. So you can upload a hero image, you can write some headlines, you can set some buttons, all this kind of stuff. It's all very, very straightforward and shouldn't take too long to really set up. And once you're done with that, right before you're able to actually launch the store, there's another very important step to do, which is basically to say, okay, I want to have these collections on the store page. So you can add certain collections by simply adding the policy ID to this list here. And you can say, okay, I want to, I don't know, select like a random project here, music machines, and you click on add collection, and it's going to add it to this list of projects. And here for Six City and Neum, we already have 47 projects, so 47 policy IDs, which are visible on the store. And you can say, okay, I want to show this one on the front page, or I don't want to show this on the front page. It's all quite simple to do. And yeah, that's basically all you have to do to launch a store. The next step is to click on publish. I'm not going to do that right now because I don't want to accidentally change some stuff on the live store, right? But in general, that's how it works. And of course, this is only the very first step. So this is like not even live, right? But this is, I think, the very first step in a very important series of steps which we are going to do, which will really make creating your own marketplaces super easy. And Faim just showed you a little bit of what that will look like in the future and what we are working on right now. But for us, basically, this is the part where we say, okay, we want to onboard the businesses and we want to onboard the creators and artists. And the cool thing as well is that this is all going to be completely free. So we are going to go with a freemium model where we say, okay, launching a store should be free and accessible to everyone. But then if you want to have additional features, like, for example, your own custom domain, you can pay like a certain amount per month, and we have like a subscription added to it. But everything else should be as accessible as possible so that as many stores can exist as possible. And yeah, I'm extremely excited about that. I think it's going to be amazing once we roll it out to the community. And I just talked for a very long time. My voice is kind of hurting today. So, Victor, do you have anything to add to this?
Yeah. I think people are loving it. Yeah, it's not even just like a free website to host your collections or live sales, because as you can see here, you could even select that button that says is drop active, so you can even have a live drop for your own sale, but you can also add collections from other projects onto your marketplace that you're fans of. You want to give more light to, and people can buy it directly from your marketplace, and then you can collect a fee, basically because you're essentially an aggregator at that point of different type of projects. So people can come to you to, let's say you're really good at not collecting but curating. You're a good curator, because it is kind of difficult to find great art pieces at times on these marketplaces, because there's just so much other 10,000 collections or PP projects, or whatever the reason is you're just hidden from like a lot of that stuff, right? So this kind of just helps you and helps other projects kind of come together and maybe collaborates, and hey, promote me on your collection, if it gets popularity. So it does kind of even out the playing field. I see it this way. It's just I see a lot of other people having very personal NFT places and creating these niche groups. Maybe you can have a gaming marketplace. We already have Noom with music. We have new form with going into fine art. So just the possibilities are limitless. So I'm really excited.
Yeah, me too. I think this is going to open up a lot of possibilities. And I think it's a great point that you touched upon. Because this is part of NMKR Studio, it's going to be, or it already is, tightly integrated with the minting part. So basically, you will be able to launch NFT projects, new NFT mints directly on the store, and it's going to take you only a few clicks. So I think this is really powerful because, you know, we've been building NMKR Studio for 2 years at this point, and we've built so many cool things like the whole sale conditions and the fiat integration and the paper wallet and the custodial wallet and all this kind of stuff just to make minting as accessible as possible. And if you have a store and you can benefit from basically being able to utilize that minting technology on the store as well, that's huge, because then there's just so much you can do. And the power of NMKR Studio is just growing and growing. And we want to have all these different parts that you can use to basically do whatever you want, right? So NFT is also a part of that, right? In the end, you could use NFT to generate images, then put them into NMKR Studio, into a new minting project, and then connect that minting project to your own custom white label store. And all of it takes less than a few minutes, which I think is just unbelievable. And yeah, just lowering the entry barrier so much to just